Yes, hello.
Hi, how are you, sir? How you doing?
Pretty good. Who am I speaking with?
Sergeant Conley.
Hi, Sergeant. My name is Jason Grant Garza.
Hi.
And I've been having many problems with police enforcement, law enforcement. For example, I've been trying to file complaints with OCC, and they're telling me that I cannot videotape in a public building seeking public services, which of course is not correct. So I'd like for you to tell me what the law is. And
if you're in a public area, you can video.
And what is a public area? What consists of a public area?
A public area would be anywhere that's open to the public.
So, for example, if I go up to the OCC,
I don't know what the policies of the OCC are, but I can just tell, like here, for example, I have no problem with
so if they have a policy, say, that states that I can't videotape, then how is that not circumventing my rights?
I don't know what their policy is, sir.
Well, what if they...
I'm just telling you, you asked me at the definition of a public spaces, and I just told you anywhere that's open to the public.
Okay, so 25 Van Ness is open to the public.
I don't know.
Well, I do. It's a public building. I went there, and then Officer Hanley told me that they had a building policy that said I couldn't videotape.
I don't know anything about it. I don't know what their
Well, who does?
I don't know, sir.
Then how are my rights being enforced if a building policy is set to circumvent my rights?
Yeah, I can just tell you when you're asking me a question, for example, about videotaping in a public area, you're totally legitimate.
Okay, so now, if they have a policy, a building policy that circumvents that, how are my rights being enforced? And who can answer that question?
I wish I could answer that question for
you.
I'm just telling you what my understanding is in terms of people's right to videotape in public. So I'm not a lawyer. I'm a police officer. So I have knowledge of people's the rights of onlookers, for example. People in public areas have the right to videotape the police and have the right, the things that are in a public area. So but you're asking me about something on a building, because I don't know if 25NS, for example, has other entities in there that aren't private or that aren't public. So I don't know all that stuff.
But if they had other places that weren't public, that were private, that would be understandable, and wouldn't it be posted somewhere that you couldn't videotape?
I don't know.
See, there's no posting.
Yeah, I have no idea about that, sir.
So, well,
I'm just answering your information about it. If you're in a public area, you have the right to.
Okay, now what do I do when I go back to 25 Van Ness and they try to tell me that they have a policy that circumvents my rights?
I don't know what to tell you.
Who does?
Did you talk to someone, for example, at OCC? Did you have a conversation with a supervisor down there?
I went into OCC. I filed my complaint.
Okay.
I got it on videotape.
Okay.
I said I want to follow up on my complaint. As soon as they found out that I was videotaping, they told me that that it wasn't allowed because it was I believe Officer Hanley from here said it was a building policy. When I asked him to show me the policy, or was I breaking the law, he said no. I said, well, then will you follow me up there so that I can have my rights enforced? And he said no. So, it's you understand the conundrum that I'm in, simply following up on my rights.
Were you able to make your complaint?
No. I gave them my initial complaint, but
just so you know, I can give you some information, like on a pamphlet that has their
I have all that.
All the
contact
resources.
I have all that, and I've done all that.
Okay.
And it hasn't worked. That's the whole point.
Okay, so then that's an issue where you might want to speak to someone at OCC, a person who may be a supervisor. If I were you, maybe
how can I speak to them if I can't get in to videotape them?
Well, you could call them.
And then it would become a he said, she said thing because I'm not allowed to audio record.
I'm just telling you that you're asking for my suggestion. I'm giving you one.
But it's a dead end suggestion if I can't audio record it because it's against the law to audio record without both parties' consent. Whereas videotaping isn't in a public place. So it's a circumvision, once again, a dead end run around my rights.
Right. Well, maybe you could go down there and talk to a supervisor.
I just told you they won't allow me in to videotape them.
But I have no. But do you understand? I have no input with OCC. They have.
That may be true, but as a law enforcement officer, I'd expect you to enforce my rights, especially when I call for civil standby. That was the reason I called for civil standby to go there, so that when they tried to pull this kind of bullshit, the officer would enforce my rights. Well, guess what? It didn't happen.
Right. I can't enforce OCC. OCC is their own entity.
No, sir. I'm not asking you to force them to do anything. I'm asking you to enforce my rights as a citizen seeking proper access and accommodation into a public building to video record them.
So can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Were you videotaping?
Yes.
Okay, so you were videotaping, right?
Yes, and then after I did it the first time, they told me I couldn't.
Okay, but what I'm saying is no one took your camera, right?
The first time, but then after that I can't even get up to the office because they won't allow me.
So that's an issue that I don't have any influence on because that has to do with.
I'm not asking for influence. I'm asking for my rights to be protected. If I call you on civil standby and you follow me and I say it's legal for me to do this and they say no, it's not, I expect the law enforcement to say, well, excuse me, sir, you guys, you're wrong. He's entitled. and to go up and do it.
I'm just telling you, you asked me a question if you're allowed to videotape in a public area, right, or with a public space.
Correct.
Right, and I'm just telling you that you're allowed to do that.
Okay, so when I call you, for example, on civil standby, and we go into that public space, and they tell me that it's not because of their building policies, will you look at them and say, well, excuse me,
But
he's
I don't
allowed?
know, I'm going to tell you right now that I don't know all the intricacies of the building itself. So a public space is like you're coming in here, for example, to the police station.
Right.
The public has access to this. That's a public space.
Right.
You're out in front. You know, that's
So
totally
it's the same
fine.
thing at
There's-
25
that's no
Van
problem.
Ness.
I don't know if that's the same thing. So that's something that I don't know. So I'm just letting you know that I don't know if that's true or
Okay.
not. That would have to be further investigated and looked into. I don't know. So.
Well, then who would know? So that I can get a
attorney.
list of the buildings. What do you mean,
An attorney?
I'm sorry, doesn't law enforcement know which buildings
I'm
are
telling
public?
you, I don't know. I'm being honest with you.
Okay, so then how can we get the captain or somebody else to find out? If you don't know, you can't make a call right now and ask about 25 Van Ness. You can't call them and say, you know, is this building, you know, private or public? You can't follow up?
Are you asking me to do that?
Yes.
Okay, I'm happy to assist you in.
Wonderful.
And I'll give you that information.
Wonderful. Then,
Okay.
then I'll wait, and when you come back and tell me that it's public,
Right.
you know, then
Well, I
I'll
don't
say,
know what
come
I'm gonna
back
tell
on,
you, so I
then
can-
come back, and I'll say, well, then come with civil standby, and when they try to screw me out of my rights, you can enforce the law for me, as opposed to only enforcing it against me.
Okay. Well, I'm not enforcing anything. I'm just giving you information.
Fine. So
Okay?
I'll wait.
So,
I'll gladly wait
okay.
until you find out.
Okay, thank you.
You know, and find out who it's from and who's giving you these things, because people can always lie to you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank
Give me a
you.
few minutes, okay?
Thank